From the Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Greg and Larry here. You notice we're sans one. Scott had some things to do today, so he left us in charge.
Yeah. Ooh, that's probably not a good idea.
Nah, how you doing, Larry?
I'm good, man. You know, starting the week out, it was only moderately shitty, so hopefully we can cruise on through it, and without hitting the ground too hard this week. But yeah, we'll see. We got a long way to go yet.
I absolutely understand that. I had to work a Sunday for the first time in a little while, and
oof,
it was a mess.
Well,
from the Gorilla Enclosure, Anthony, how are you?
Busy until the second week of June, but other than that, no, we're doing good. I am not kidding. Almost every weekend between now and the second week of June, I have something going on, but
I don't doubt that.
That is for good reason. My sneaky, elusive news I said last episode has come to fruition. I am now the Scoutmaster elect for my scout troop that I eagled out of, so that is both wondrous and terrifying for all the reasons you can imagine. But
congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, that's really cool, dude.
No, but it comes with the fact that I have to do like 4 different trainings over the course of the next month and a half to make sure have all the credentials I'm supposed to, both that the scouting organization says I should have and the state of California says I should have to interact with the youth. So,
right.
The Utes?
The Utes.
Yeah,
are you, does that mean you're back up to Camp Winton?
No, God, no. I did, before all this came to fruition, I did promise the fantastic person who is running the camps this year, I would volunteer 1 week of my time this summer to go teach shotgun while my credentials were still good. One of the camps in the area, Camp Lassen, is celebrating both its 90th anniversary and, unfortunately, its last year in operation this year.
That's terrible.
So it is what it is. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's 20 camp beds per one scout in the state of California. We're not the only council that has had to limit its property expenditure, but it is what it is. The real estate and economic market is not just affecting middle class families. It's everything. So
if you'd like to donate, we'll put a link on the screen.
Yeah, send your money to the Gorilla. I will make sure it gets to the right people.
There we go.
For those of you that know, that's gorillafund.com.
Yeah. Cigarsforgorilla.com. Yeah. Wow.
Someone's got to patent that one quick.
That's a rough one. More local news. Shooting sports people in the greater Sacramento, Northern California area. Some of you, if you followed the podcast for a while, know that the Gorilla shot Trap for 4 years. He was in high school for the local high school team here at Del Oro High School. Well, trap season has started again all throughout Northern California and beyond. So if you're not familiar, are familiar with shooting sports, with trap shooting, you want to spend a day or half a day having a really good time, get on CYSSA.com, which is the Scholastic Youth Sports Association, and look and see where the trap tournaments are in your area, and go out to a high school trap tournament. It is an awesome experience.
Much more laid back than the white moms screaming at Little League matches.
Yeah, Little League is not a match, sir.
Shit
Man,
show?
I wish we had Gorilla Cam. You look at me. Of course I don't know what a fucking Little League game is called.
Okay, so moving on. The Gorilla and I went out Saturday morning to the local trap club, which is Coon Creek Trap Club in Lincoln, which is been purchased recently, going through quite a few renovations and cleanup. So if you're familiar with that and you haven't been there in a while, now's the time to probably check that place out. And a lot of new things, a lot of good things happening out there. But it was the first time I'd been out to trap since the Gorilla was in high school. And we had a good time, man. It was a lot of fun just kind of hanging out and seeing a few people that we knew and, watching some kids that we had no idea who they were, shoot trap. So, there. That was part of our weekend fun this last weekend.
I got to be careful because for the last 2 years, one of my scouts started shooting for the Delaware Trap team, and his dad's been bugging me that I should coach. And I'm like, nah, too many other commitments, and now I've signed on as Scoutmaster. No. Yeah, I couldn't help but turn my coaching brain on while I was watching the kids shoot. I literally pulled this young man who's in my scout troop aside and said, hey, so that kid you're shooting with, is he a brand new shooter? He's like, yeah, why? I'm like, it shows. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you can get out, go do it. Even if you're not interested in shooting yourself, go watch. Make a day of it.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Literally.
But the gorilla here, he's here all night, folks. Greg, tell us about what we're smoking, sir.
So, I kind of feel like if I can reference, which some people will get, you go to if you hear something in the background, that's the gorilla's vehicle, by the way.
Yeah, there's some vehicle maintenance happening out in front of the shop. My apologies. It's my fault.
It's okay. So I feel like if I can reference Top Gear for once, they got a letter many years ago. And we have not gotten such a letter, but it was like, hey, you guys featured too many exotic cars. When are you going to talk about cars that the everyday person can get to? So I pulled a little thing out of my humidor, and we're literally smoking right now an 80-cent cigar. They are $79 a box. You can buy them from Cigars International, even though we don't get any sponsorship money from them. But it's called the Fields of Gold. And it is literally an 80-cent cigar, 100 count for $79. This happens to be the Habano.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, they describe it as rich and spicy with a smooth cedary finish. It also comes in a Maduro and a Connecticut. I have smoked the Connecticut as well. I haven't found the Maduro yet. And it's one of those things where we touched upon it on an episode way back when, before video. We talked about budget cigars, but we really haven't done so since. So I figured might be fun to get these out, and see what you guys think of them. Because, when I first bought them, and my studio audience over there will remember when I first bought these, I bid on it, and I was like, yeah, I ain't going to win these. And
lo and behold, you're the proud new owner, huh?
Sure as shit. Now I own 60-cent cigars. So, it's one of those things where not always do you need a $10+ stick. Our local brick and mortar sells a cigar that they've lovingly named the Yardstick. It's a inexpensive, I think in a bundle, they're like $3-4 a cigar. If you buy them individually, they're like, there goes that motorcycle again. Can't get away from it. If you buy them in individually, I think they're like $5 or $6. It's just an inexpensive cigar that you can smoke. And I tend to smoke these when I'm doing something where I don't want to ruin a good stick.
Yeah, and then if you put it down and forget about it for a little while and relight it or not or whatever, yeah, it's nice to have kind of a yardstick, a work stick, something like that to go to. And as cigars go, this isn't bad.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's not. You're not going to put it down in the ashtray and go, man, I can't do this. I've done we've done that with some cigars that have cost way more money than these.
That's true.
But on your flavor notes, I'm not getting the spice.
No.
Now a little bit of the cedar, aftermath or however they described it. I am getting a little bit of that, but it's not spicy to me. It draws good. It's it's got a decent flavor. Greg's setting his shirt on fire. That's all right, man. I know where to order more of those.
I know.
I think we should just order them pre-burned.
Or we should order them with a fire retardant built into them. I've only burned a hole in one of them, unlike my co-host who's not here to defend himself that does it regularly.
Hey, until you've burnt a baseball-sized hole in a pair of nylon shorts right at the crotch, I don't want to hear anything else about it.
I remember that night.
Dude, man. And I was driving. Like, holy shit, man. The whole, it just caught fire. I'm like, what the? How I didn't wreck the truck or burn anything is beyond me. But, Live to tell another story.
I remember that night. You walked into the lounge and goes, "Hey guys, what do you think?" And we're all going, "I don't get it." What? He's like, "Look down there," and we're like, "Oh, well, that could have gone wrong."
Yeah, it's literally a baseball-sized hole in the front of my shorts. So
I'm currently adding lighting self on fire with cigar because wearing nylon clothing to my list of fears I didn't know I had. Thank you so much.
What's that jacket made out of, Anthony?
I don't want to fucking look.
So, it's one of those things where talking about this cigar, and no offense to Cigars International, it's rolled for a price point, and that's fine. It's a good cigar. I think we'd all agree. What do you think, Gorilla?
I think let me put it this way. For 80 cents, I'd buy it again.
Yeah.
yeah, no, 100%.
I wouldn't be afraid. It's not unpalatable. It's cheap. You can get a bunch of them at once for a decent price. I personally wouldn't say no to giving this to someone who wanted to try a cigar for the first time, because I know, one, it's not going to be a $10 or $12 cigar that I'm out, but at the same time, it's not unapproachable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Well, it's not something that's going to scare somebody completely away from cigars.
And as far as the flavor, I got a tiny bit of the spice with like the first 2 or 3 draws, but yeah, the flavor, there's flavor there that someone could enjoy. There's nothing strikingly bad about it. It's not terrible just because it's a cheaper cigar.
Right. And there's a couple things to consider, I think, that come into a budget stick. One is your quality of construction. When you're buying the $10+ sticks, you expect a high quality construction. This one's a little bit rough.
I kind of like that though.
The little rustic look.
I like the little bit rustic look.
Mm-hmm.
Little backwoods-ish.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking cheroot. Almost reminds me of what they look like, but this doesn't by any means, and I'm sorry we don't have any frame of reference for you guys out in podcast land or YouTube land, but I don't think you ever got to smoke one of those things that we lovingly call the cat turd that Rich brought from Costa Rica, because that is literally what it looked like.
No, I saw pictures of it. I didn't smoke one.
They were rough, but the construction on this is not bad. I mean, they're not pretty by any means, but they smoke. They draw okay. I think a little bit looser than I would like, but it's just a good stick.
It's a little spongy if you're holding it. Along that same note, there, guys, something else to remember on a budget stick. Tommy, you can just flick it on the floor, man. It ain't nobody matters. Nobody cares in here. There's something else to think about is, as far as the quality of the roll, also the age of the tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chances are, more often than not, on any cigar in this price point, relative, more or less, you're going to need to put that box down for a little while.
Yes.
Because that tobacco has not been aged, folks. If it had been, it would be in higher dollar cigars. So, this is tobacco that did not meet the grade for a particular 10 or 12 or higher dollar price point cigar. So, and I'm not saying that to, be disparaging to any, lower priced cigars. You just need to understand the facts of the matter when it comes to a cigar at a 60 or 80 cent price point. It's most likely not going to be as well constructed.
Yep.
And it's going to be newer, fresher, unaged tobacco. So, if you want to get something like this to smoke while you're doing yard work, smoke while you're fishing, smoke whatever, great, go for it. You let it sit in your humidor for a little while so you're not disappointed right off the get-go.
Yeah, these, to be fully honest and fair disclosure to everybody, I have a second box of these at my house. I have a third of the box. Tommy and Will up in Idaho have the other 2/3 of the box. These that we're smoking have been laying in my humidor for 3 years. So they've laid down quite a long time. The newer box, it's a little rough. It's a little harsh. Does that make them bad? No. But, if you're going to buy them knowing that you need, like you said, to lay them down, do so. And try a month, 2 months first and see what you need to do. I mean, hell, let's talk a $25 cigar for a minute. We won't name the brand, but they were bought by a friend of ours, and he smoked one right out of the box and was like, the flavor's just not right for me. Laid it down for 6 months, and then it was perfect. So it's also preference for people as well.
Well, and that doesn't just go for, a budget, lower price point cigar. You're liable to get something depending on where it came from, how it was stored, where it was stored, that you need to put in the humidor for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Let it get back to where it's supposed to be. If somebody bought you a box of cigars while they're on vacation and it was 3 weeks from the time they bought them to the time they get them to you, there may be a little bit of issue with those if you don't set them in the humidor for a month or two.
Absolutely.
Until you fire one of them up. So, just stuff to consider, while you're smoking your 60 to 80 cent cigar.
And that's actually true, because if you think about it too, when you order, we don't advocate buying cigars online, even though we all do it. The brick and mortar is important, so buy as best you can out of that brick and mortar. However, when you do order cigars online, you also have to figure the fact of, as you said, shipping time. They're spending a week in transit to you with no humidification. They're going to need a few weeks lay down in your humidor. I have the fortune of, when my cigars are shipped, they go into a humidor and then they sit for an average of a month before I get them. So they're in a well-maintained humidor and they don't have to traverse that much. But it's definitely also something to think about on that. I'm thinking, we haven't talked cigar news. We did last one, but there's a couple of new things coming out. First and foremost, I'm very excited about this.
You're hiding it well.
I know. The Cabineta that's put out by Joya de Nicaragua. It is a beautiful cigar. It's two-toned. It's usually a Corojo top and a Connecticut bottom. They're releasing their wonderful Lanceros in a limited run. What scares me is it'll debut at PCA in 2024, which is actually in 3 weeks. What scares me about this whole thing is the fact that it's only 1,000 boxes for the world.
Oof.
And in a Lancero, they're really good. So they're going to be hard to get. I'm going to have my cigar friend over there strong arm the vault owner about getting me a couple of boxes, if he can.
What's the price point going to be? Are you going to have to take out a second mortgage?
I don't really care at this point.
All right.
But yes, it's probably not going to be cheap. I think when they came out originally, was it 5 years ago, they were around $11.95, accounting for inflation and the way cigar prices are going to change. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it at $19 or more.
Yeah, I was figuring 17 to 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a sought after release for sure.
Yes. Another one coming out, and I can't even believe we're saying this, but Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Edition Double Diamante is going to be making its debut at PCA as well. It is the most premium cigar Monte Cristo has ever put out to date. Altadis is the owner of Monte Cristo brand, and they're bringing this one out. MSRP for the stick is $150 per cigar and only 250 boxes produced. If you go to LoomisCigarCartel.com, click on the cigar news link, you can see pictures of these boxes. I mean, dude, this thing is killer here. The box is gorgeous. The cigar is gorgeous, but, it's a lot, even for me.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, I get it. That's the flagship brand, from back in the day on cigars. But man, 150 a stick is a little pricey.
Yeah. El Septimo is a brand we have not got to talk to yet. They're a fairly newer brand on the market. They've been out for a couple of years. They are introducing 4 new blends. The thing with El Septimo is they're in the average of $25 to $30 range typically.
Mm-hmm.
So they're launching 4 new cigars. They are going to be made. It's the Culinary Arts Collection. They're going to be made to be paired with certain wines of certain countries. There's going to be a France Bordeaux. It is going to be a 6x60 Gordo right in your line.
There we go.
Bold Complex Blend pays homage to the traditions of Bordeaux. The Italy Toscano, which will be a Toro 6x52. Rich layered cigar capturing the essence of Tuscany's famed wine region. The Japanese Nigori, it is a Corona Gordo 6x46, inspired by the subtle sweet notes of Nigori sake. And then, of course, the Spain Roja Robusto at 5x54. Spanish wine I haven't drank a lot of, but it's probably going to be pretty bold. Price points are running as this. The Spanish version is going to be $9 a stick. The Nigiri 12, the Toscano 15, and the Bordeaux 18, respectively. These, of course, are all MSRP prices. Your experience in this cigar lounge may vary depending on which free or communist state you choose to reside in. I am looking forward to trying those out.
For sure. All four of those sound like those would be, at least worth a try or two.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're, I know where we can find them because I know where El Septimo is sold. At least it's sold in a cheaper tax bracket than here.
Everything's a cheaper tax bracket than here.
Amen to that one. PCA is coming up.
Yeah, I know. A couple weeks out.
And we're not going this year, which is a little disappointing. Hopefully we'll be out there next year. We'll see, though.
Yeah, just too many things going on. The time of the year, man, is that they're doing it this year is hard.
Yeah.
It's just this. We're just gearing up to get into the start of our busy season, and I can't really do that right now.
Yep.
No fan mail?
There has been no fan mail, other than Rocky saying thank you for the acknowledgement and how much he still enjoys the show from our last episode, but not really any fan mail this time. You guys can definitely write us,
Yeah, pick on us, make fun of us, whatever you think you need to do.
We're a bit lonely here on the show, you can write to us.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
that could be a cry for help. So
could be, could not be.
Well, it is what it is. I'm about a third of the way into this, and
yep.
Haven't had to touch it up, relight it at all. It's still getting a decent draw. Flavor's decent. I mean, it's good.
To me, it's a little flat, but that's also, it's imperative. It's 80 cents. Come on. But I do like them. I mean, I bought more of them.
Well, and I think the Gorilla summed it up. I mean, it's fine for the price point. And it's something that I would smoke it again. It's not. I'm not going to go, oh God, it's 80 cents. I never want another one of these. No, I've had cigars that cost a lot more than this that weren't this good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. If you like it, smoke it. Don't really matter what it costs.
And I would agree. I think that's one of the best messages that we put out is if you like it, smoke it. We ain't going to judge.
Let's see. What else we got coming up? Anything new and exciting?
I'm still working on Brandon and I are trying to nail down a date for Apostate to come back on the show. We've got to talk about, we're behind the curve as far as that goes. The Sword of Laban came out last year. We haven't talked about it yet. I think we've all smoked it, right, Gorilla? You too?
Ceaselessly. It is, like I said a few episodes back, it was probably my favorite cigar of last year.
Yeah.
And then that's a great stick.
And then they've got 2 more coming out this year at PCA, which I'll have to get a hold of for the show. But we're trying to get him back on. I'm trying to reach out right now to get a hold of Enrique Sanchez. He does 1502.
Mm-hmm.
To have him come join us.
They got some good sticks too. We got. I got to look and see when it is. It may be even next week. I think there's something going on down at Stogie's in Lodi.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They're doing something for St. Patrick's Day. I saw a blip on it, but I didn't read the whole thing, so I got to look into that. If you're in the in or around the Lodi area and you haven't checked out Stogie's of Lodi, you're missing out. It's a great place. beer and wine, private lounge, nice humidor. They got a pretty good selection of stuff. Super friendly people working there, so go by and see that.
Actually, we do need to get down there. There's a new Room 101 out called the Hit and Run.
Yeah, I was reading something about that. That
Yeah.
looks like that'd be a good one. Also, in past episode reference type of news, the general from Gen X Talks, they had their annual car show this last weekend that we sent a bunch of stuff down for, and I got a quick email from them on Sunday that said the show went fantastic. So I want to try to plan on, Scott and I were going to go down until Greg pointed out that Scott and I had another obligation that day, which was this past Saturday. So we're going to try to make the road trip next year to SoCal and do that car show. I think that would be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
So,
and with the right notice and an electrical plug, I got a mobile setup we could take with us if we wanted to.
yeah. Well, I'm going to set up where I have a converter on the truck, so that we can just plug in, right through the truck and do whatever we need to do. So, yeah, so a few things going on. It's the rainy weather's still hanging in there up here in NorCal a little bit, but as it starts to dry out, we're doing a little bit more camping, a little bit more barbecuing. So we've talked about it before, but I want to try to make it happen this summer where we do maybe not necessarily a live show, but we're going to do a barbecue, drink, and smoke show this year, even if it's out somewhere camping or just up at, Casa de Ugly Parrot. We are definitely going to be doing something like that. I don't think, Greg, you still haven't bought a Blackstone yet, you cheap son of a bitch.
It has nothing to do with cheap. It has to do with I want the same one that you and Scott have, and apparently they've discontinued that one. So I'm having trouble finding one now. But we'll figure something out.
Okay. The Ace Hardware guy here in Loomis sells them. I'll see if he can't maybe track one down for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll see what we can do. So,
but yeah, short show. I don't really have much more to go on that one.
well, yeah, we could go off on some crazy tangent, but people may be getting tired of our tangents. Hell, we don't know.
So I have a question. Any specific St. Patrick's Day plans?
Corned beef and cabbage.
Man, I'm going to be gone for that.
So will I. I'll be in Idaho.
I don't care where you are. You weren't coming over for corned beef and cabbage before, so no. I was thinking, like, what are we doing anything for St. Patrick's Day? And I'm remembering the corned beef and cabbage feed that St. Joseph's Church would put on in Lincoln. Jesus Lord.
Yeah, sometimes it was good that your grandmother was Catholic.
Greg, you might want to scoot over. Be a lightning bolt
really
through the ceiling.
Dude, 55 years walking this planet, if I was going to get struck by lightning, a bolt from the heavens, it would have happened long before now, sir. Just
if I'm lying, may I be struck by lightning and live.
Yeah. Good save.
I haven't had a good.
That's right. You're going to be gone.
Yeah, I'm going to be gone again. Scout stuff. I've had a lot of corned beef. Even moms. No offense to moms. Those like 3 old dudes at the parish hall could cook a mean corned beef.
Yeah, well,
it's a tricky thing to cook because if you overcook it just a touch too long, even though you're boiling it, it's dry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those where it's a tricky thing.
Yeah. So
my favorite
that's right.
is,
you're going to be gone this weekend, so you miss corned beef and cabbage and the little, cupcake with a candle on it for your little brother's birthday. That's day after tomorrow.
I am painfully aware.
Which one, Pat or Chris?
Pat.
Ah. Does your wife make soup with the leftovers? But then again, I'm assuming there are leftovers.
Oh, the corned beef stuff?
Uh-huh.
There's not typically leftovers, dude.
Mm-hmm. She's lucky there's enough ham left over to make ham and bean soup after Christmas.
Yeah.
Get a bigger one.
Yeah, we've tried that. You know, in the practical application of that theory sounds like it would work, but when you have two guys in the at the table pushing 300 pounds, you put more ham out means we eat more ham.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you've noticed the podcast, Scott might be the tallest, but he's also the smallest.
Yeah.
So it's four chubby guys, and we all know how to eat.
That reminds me, as the weather warms up, I need to get, specifically with you, Dad, but also Greg and Scott, the Camera Gorilla has had a sudden windfall. But what I mean by that is I haven't come into money. I've come into not having to spend as much money, which means phase 2 in the future traveling gorilla show has begun. I need to refresh all my camping gear. Some of it I plan on buying new, just because I would prefer to have new, not, I don't want to say broken or damaged, but just things I would prefer to be new and I know work without having to,
unsweated on.
Yes, you know what I mean. But other stuff, I need to go through, see what we still have in our camping gear, what other people might be swapping out and getting rid of so I can refresh. But yeah, the Gorilla's motor vehicle repairs that are happening 8 feet outside the door behind the gentleman there ended up costing far less than the Gorilla thought they were. So that's
an understatement, my friend.
It is what it is, you know.
Mm-hmm. You all know how that goes with car repair.
I don't doubt that I would probably be in a better position had all those parts been replaced. But at the same time, they didn't need to be replaced. So I'm happy.
All right. We got final thoughts. I mean, Greg's Shirley Temple is barely touched. I'm about halfway on this stout beer, which is the same stout that Scott and I were smoking. Woo.
Smoking, really?
Yeah, we got to end. Jesus.
Drinking the other day, Cool Beer Works up in Cool, California. So also a great place for craft beers and food. So if you're in the area, swing by and see them. And once again, not a bad stick, Greg.
No, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Final thoughts on the stick there, Gorilla?
Again, I'd pay 80 cents for it again. It's not bad. It's a little rough around the edges. It's falling apart a tiny bit in my mouth, but that's probably 'cause
again, it's an 80-cent stick.
It's an 80-cent cigar.
It tastes fine. No bad flavors. Just, yeah.
And
don't say no to the lower price point.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask your proprietor at your brick and mortar, what's the house stick? And, 10 to 1, most proprietors have a reasonably priced house stick somewhere.
And honestly, anybody that's got a house stick, I'll get a couple of them. Because I want to see what they're putting out there. Well,
let's call out Stogies as we go back for a minute. Let's call out Stogies of Lodi for a minute. If I remember right, their house stick is rolled by Sinistro, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So, I don't remember what the price point was, but it was a fantastic cigar.
Yeah, they're about $8, I think, $8-9.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a great cigar. I'm not sure who is rolling the house sticks for Cigar Grotto in Oceanside, but their house sticks are amazing too. And I'm going to be down there in about 3 weeks. I'm going to pick up some more of those barber pole that they have. They have a 6x60 barber pole in their house stick that is a really, really nice cigar. And they're $7-8, and that's a hell of a price in California for a 6x60. So that's all I got, man.
Me too.
Yeah.
Gorilla.
Take us home, baby.
Oh.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have this one memorized like I do the other one. So, we appreciate everybody for listening, and check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook, Instagram. We're not shadow banned anymore, and I'm not waiting for that funky keyboard. Scott would say our cigars are down to the nub and our drinks empty, but neither of those is true. We're going to continue to smoke our cigars and clean up. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on the next recording. So, as our good friend Mr. Robinson would say, good smoke, good drink, and good life.